Good afternoon, children of class 12th, Bio Group. Today, we are continuing after many days with the 11th part of the video of the 8th chapter of Evidences and Theories of Biological Evolution. Now, last time we studied about Darwinism and his 5 fundamental propositions we studied about, and we confirmed these with Wallace's chart. If you see here, Wallace's, he put the facts of Darwin on one side in his chart and the deductions or what he concluded from those facts he put on the other side. Now we will look at the drawbacks and the criticism of Darwinism. Darwin was not clear about the sources of variations or changes and the mechanisms that were involved in natural selection. Although natural selection theory was given by Darwin, but Darwin was not clear about the sources of variations or changes and the mechanisms involved in the natural selection. The second aspect we see is that Darwin thought that the natural selection operated on variations already available, but did not consider the possibilities of origin of new hereditary variations or mutations, etc. Then the third aspect of the criticism of Darwinism was he considered the possibility only of the survival of the fittest and not of the arrival of the fittest. So what was the shortcoming or the drawback in Darwinism theory? That he considered the possibility only of the survival of the fittest but not of the arrival of the fittest. The fourth anomaly or shortcoming in Darwinism was that Darwin thought that certain traits in species made them more successful in the struggle for existence. So they leave more offsprings than other individuals of their species. However, he never talked of catastrophes like floods and fires which remove the majority of the individuals in a population, regardless of their genotype. So we see that Darwin did not look at both the genotypes of not only those animals which were fit and that were surviving, who were giving more individuals as offsprings, but he also should have looked at the other kind of individuals which did not have strong genotypes. Now, with this we come to Neo-Darwinism. There were certain scientists who took the main theme of the Darwinism theory, but they added something new to what Darwin said. The Neo-Darwinism, the basic theory developed by Darwin and the further information acquired since 1859 has been refined but not altered basic structure of Darwin's theory. In Neo-Darwinism, the first aspect we see is that one change includes a redefined unit of evolution, knowledge of evolution, and not all kinds of mortality of different reproductions produce evolutionary changes. Let us look at this again carefully. In Neo-Darwinism, one change includes a redefined unit of evolution, knowledge of evolution, and not all kinds of mortality of different reproductions produce evolutionary changes. And a subpart of this can be understood like this: the unit of evolution now recognized is the population. evolution is defined as a change in the frequency of an allele within a population in response to local environmental conditions. So, what does Neo Darwinism look at? The unit of evolution now recognized is the population. Evolution is defined as a change in the frequency of an allele. And as we know, children, what allele is? It's an alternative form of gene. Alternate trait of another gene is allele within a population in response to local environmental conditions. Looking at the sub point B of the first point, as far as physical basis of heredity is concerned, we know that differences among individuals result from accumulation of mutations or alleles in the population and from recombination of genes, which is independent assortment, crossover, and fertilization during sexual reproduction. Both Darwin and Neo-Darwinians accept natural selection. Neo-Darwinians also realized that characters as such are not inherited. So in their times, the word genes was not clearly known. So the Neo-Darwinians also realized that characters as such are not inherited. Instead, that are character determiners which control development. Now, we come to the mutation theory of De Vries. We come on to the mutation theory of De Vries. Now, De Vries' mutation theory was based upon his observations on evening primrose, which is in the scientific sense named as Onothora lemachiana. In a field near Amsterdam, he observed the wild variety of primrose. He showed characteristic differences, and these differences he picked up from the variety of primroses. According to him, the differences were originated suddenly. What he found? Children, De Vries found that the differences were originating suddenly in the primroses and were inheritable. That means not only sudden differences were produced, but the oncoming offsprings, they inherited those sudden variations or differences that were produced. The plants with new characteristics transmitted them to their offsprings. De Vries called them as mutants or saltations, and the newly developed characters he called mutations. According to this theory, new species originate as a result of these large discontinuous variations appeared suddenly. Mutation theory has important features. Let us see 4 of these important features. The mutants are clearly distinct from their parents. The mutants, they do not look exactly like parents, but they are clearly distinct looking from their parents. The second aspect was mutations are heritable and form new species. The third thing which he observed was that mutations are sudden and large and are different from Darwin's fluctuating variations, which are small and directional. So, De Vries' mutations are sudden and large and are different from Darwin's fluctuating variations, which were small and they were directional. Now, the fourth observation of the mutation theory was mutations may appear in any direction and are subjected to natural selection. Unfavorable mutants are eliminated by natural selection. So what he observed was Darwin observed that unfavorable mutants are eliminated by natural selection. Now, one of the important aspects, let us look at one of the most important criticisms of the mutation theory is that it is extremely hard to believe that mutations have provided sufficient opportunity for all specialized adaptations that exist in nature. So, after this, to improve upon this theory, modern theory of evolution was given. So, the enrichment of Darwin's theory by the perspectives of population, genetics, paleontology, and biogeography became a modern synthesis of evolution. There was a man by the name of Julian Huxley who gave this modern theory of evolution. This modern theory recognizes that populations that undergo gradual changes are affected by natural selection acting on individuals. What he observed, Julian observed, the modern theory recognizes that populations that undergo gradual changes are affected by natural selection acting on individuals. There was a man by the name of Stebbins. So he, in his book called Process of Organic Evolution, discussed the synthetic theory and other factors responsible for evolution. These factors are, now what are these factors that were given by Stebbins in his book Process of Organic Evolution? These factors are gene mutations. That means there are certain determiners which were given the name gene, and he saw that there were genetic mutations or gene mutations. The second aspect he gave in his book was changes in chromosome structure and number. Third aspect was genetic recombination. That means genetically new recombinations take place, which children we already studied when ma'am was explaining the mutation chapter to you. That genetic recombinations take place and bring variation in the offsprings. Fourth aspect is natural selection. Nature selects. Fifth aspect is reproductive isolation. The first three factors which we saw here cause genetic variations, and the last two factors of natural selection and reproductive isolation are responsible for giving a direction to the evolutionary process. So with this, children, we will conclude this video, and we will continue from here when we will study about next time the causes of variations, and we will study about the sources of variations. We would go into greater details next time. So till then, children, wish you all the best. Study well. Thank you.